Hello, and welcome back to UglyCode. It is December 1st, 2024, and today is the first day of the Advent of Code 2024. So that's what we're actually going to be doing today. Ignore the to-do list. I haven't updated the scene or the text for that. But yeah, so first, hang on one second, let me turn the lights on. So first, before we do that, I just want to switch over here to the printer, and we'll just start printing a camera mount for the Raspberry Pi because we will need one. So let's just connect there. Okay, and we need this one here. Oh, cool. I unlocked an achievement. Okay, so that'll start up and do its thing. And we'll check back on that in a minute. Oh, and I also need an SSH session. There we go. Okay, so I have somewhere to write my scripts when we actually get into the challenges here. The puzzles? Yeah, puzzles, challenges, same diff. Okay, and I also need... Oh, I don't have a scene that has a browser. I think I can just add a browser to this. There we go, good enough. Okay, and then we'll point that at... adventofcode.com/2024. And let's move that over. Oh, wow, that really blends in. Oh, actually here, we'll check in on the printer while we do that. Oh, it's just centering. Okay. I think if I just add a Chrome instance here. Yeah, that'll probably work better. Here, let's get rid of the browser. Remove that, and we'll just add window capture. Yeah, target Chrome. There we go. That's much more readable. Okay, so let's move that. We don't really need the circuit board right now. There we go. And over here, let's click on day one. Oh, I think I just heard the printer. Let's see what's going on. Okay, that seems to be off to a good start. You really need to get that lighting. Yeah. The angle looks good, but I think you can't see anything because there's no light in there. Anyway, we'll check back on it in a little bit. This scene? No, this scene. There we go. Okay, so here's the backstory for the challenge. So this part here is talking about the overall Advent of Code challenge for the month. So every day we have to get a star until, or no, we got to get 2 stars until the 25th. So when we'll solve the first puzzle, and then that unlocks the second puzzle, and then we get to solve that too. So let's get started. This part here. Okay, can I full screen that? There, now I can see what I'm doing. Oh, I can't actually interact with it there. 1 sec. Here we go. So, you haven't even left yet, and the group of elvish senior historians has already hit a problem. Their list of locations to check is currently empty. Eventually, someone decides that the best place to check first would be the chief historian's office. Upon pouring into the office, everyone confirms that the chief historian is indeed nowhere to be found. Instead, the elves discover an assortment of notes and lists of historically significant locations. This seems to be the planning the chief historian was doing before he left. Perhaps these notes can be used to determine which locations to search. Throughout the chief's office, the historically significant locations are listed not by name, but by a unique number called the location ID. So that's what we're trying to find there. To make sure they don't miss anything, the historians split into 2 groups, each searching the office and trying to create their own complete list of location IDs. There's just one problem. By holding the 2 lists up side by side, your puzzle input, it quickly becomes clear that the lists aren't very similar. Maybe you can help the historians reconcile their lists. Okay, so that's the 2 lists side by side. But then let's see what we're going to do with that data. Maybe the lists are only off by a small amount. To find out, pair up the numbers and measure how far apart they are. Pair up the smallest number in the left list with the smallest number in the right list, then the second smallest left number with the second smallest right number, and so on. Okay, so that sounds like we are supposed to sort these in order, ascending order. So the 1 would go at the top here, 2, 3, 3, 3, 4, etc. And then we're just finding the distance. And the same with this list here. We would sort it as 3, 3, 3, 4, 5, 9. And then we would be comparing the distance between this, and this, and so on. Within each pair, figure out how far apart the two numbers are. You'll need to add up all of those distances. For example, if you pair up a 3 from the left list with a 7 from the right list, the distance apart is 4. If you pair up a 9 with a 3, the distance apart is 6. In the example list above, the pairs and distances would be as follows. The smallest number in... here, I'll scroll up so we can see both. The smallest number in the left list is 1. Yeah, there we go. And the smallest number in the right list is 3. There's several of them, but yes, there is a tie for 3, or for the smallest. The distance between them is 2. So yes, 3 minus 1. So it doesn't matter which one we're subtracting, we're just getting the absolute difference between them. Okay, anything else? So, second smallest is 2. And yes, there's a tie, so the second smallest is another 3. Okay, anything different about these? Third smallest. Yes, then we get to the 3s. And there's another 3 on this side, so the distance is 0. Okay. And then we add them all up. Okay, so we go here to get the input. Oh, and I guess let's just double check, but I'm pretty sure the leaderboard was already full for this one. So they said on the frequently asked questions that we're supposed to wait until the leaderboard for a given day is full before streaming the solution. So I think we're in the clear. Oh, one sec. Let me make sure that the stream is public. So I don't want to get halfway through it and then find that it's unlisted again. Yes. Oh. It doesn't like the bit rate. Stream's current bit rate, 2,892.44 kilobits, is lower than the recommended bit rate. We recommend that you use a stream bit rate of 68 kilobits. Okay. Oh, I don't think I have control over that. It's just my connection. Okay. Well, hopefully that doesn't cause us any problems. Okay, well, let's get into this. So I'm thinking this is probably easiest to solve with Python. Yeah, we'll get the lists, we'll see how they're formatted. We'll either break them up if we have to into 2 separate lists, or if they're already broken up, then we'll sort each list and then iterate over them in conjunction, or iterate over them simultaneously, and then calculate the distance between them and get our total. Oh, that is quite a long list. Okay. And they are paired as well. So here, let's copy that. And we'll paste that into the text editor. Oh. Did it still not free up any space? Okay. Well, now might be a good time. Where did I put that SD card? It's only 12:23. So. Oh, there it is. Actually, yeah, we'll keep that up for now, because what we do want is, let's look for Raspberry Pi. Go to raspberrypi.com and reject cookies, and where do we have excuse me, this is the software. Okay, so if you don't already have it, download a copy of Imager for your operating system. I already have it, so I'm not going to do that. And you don't have to use Imager specifically. There are a bunch of different programs that'll work just fine, and they're having a bunch of different programs that they've recommended over the years. This is just the current one that's endorsed by the Raspberry Pi Foundation. So download that. And then now you can either select the operating system within Raspberry Pi Imager, which I think is how I'm going to demonstrate it today. That's the easy way, but usually what I prefer to do is, and the way that I usually prefer to teach it, is to go down here and download the operating system. So I will talk about that, but when I actually flash the operating system. When I actually flash the operating system onto the card, we will be doing it through Raspberry Pi Imager. But the other way to do it is you go in here through the download options, and you pick the operating system that you want. And the benefit of that is, I'd say consistency. So if you're trying to do some kind of project with a Raspberry Pi, and you want to build a prototype on one version of it, and then you want to be able to make, if successful, you want to be able to make more just like that, and you don't want to have to do any updates or anything like that. It probably helps to have the exact same version of the operating system that you started with. So in that case, you might want to actually have a copy of the image saved somewhere. And I'd recommend, for starting off, just go with the Raspberry Pi OS with desktop. If you've got enough room, you can try the desktop and recommended software, but that's just going to come with a bunch of extra bells and whistles. Although I do also recommend becoming familiar with the Raspberry Pi OS Lite image. It's the same thing, except it has a bunch of, it's a significantly smaller image. I think about less than half of the image size. So it doesn't have, I think it doesn't come with the GUI installed. It doesn't come with any of the graphical editing tools that come in the GUI. So like the text editor, the programming editing software. So if you don't need any of that stuff, then where this comes in handy is if you're building an embedded system that you want to stick a Raspberry Pi in some kind of electronic device, and it's not going to be running a GUI of any kind. It doesn't need any windows or any way to display windows or a clickable mouse interface of any kind. There might not even be an interface. You might just build it, load it up with the code, and then connect up some sensors and close the hood, and it's never seen again. It's just running underneath, in behind the scenes, doing its job. So I don't need the hash for that one. Oh, and that's the other thing, is if you download the other advantage of downloading them directly is if you want to perform integrity checks for some reason, that gives you a way to do it. I think the downloader probably does it for you automatically, but I don't imagine it gives you direct access to it. So if you want to be able to download and confirm the integrity of the file, this gives you the hash right there, and then you can run it through any utility you want on your system to generate the hash and make sure that it matches. Specifically, in this case, the SHA-256 hash. But depending on whose software you're downloading, you may find they use different hashes. So, let's get this card, or get the Pi out first. Hard to get the corner of these thin layers of plastic. Okay, whatever, I'll just... There we go. Just break the plastic. And that is easier than trying to peel it from the edge. My USB. Oh, there we go. I think that's it. Yes. Imager, and how do let's just change the window capture. Oh, let's try adding another one. There we go. Okay, so this one is a Raspberry Pi 4B with 8 gigs of RAM. Well, it was open box, so let me just double check. Raspberry Pi 4B. Does it have... Forget where the marking is. Oh, hang on. see anything on here. I was gonna say I forget where the marking is that tells you how much RAM it has. But I guess we'll see when we get it booted. It's definitely a 4B. And when we get it into the operating system, it should show up as 8 gigabytes. Okay. So let's set that aside for now. I have to unplug one of these. What is this the cable for? No, that's for the microphone. I think we will need that. I guess I don't need the keyboard for... I mean, I will... Oh. Yes, I will need it for configuring the operating system. I don't have enough USB ports. Okay, well, for now, let's just configure everything that we can. So we have Raspberry Pi 4. We're going to tell it that we want the 64-bit version of the 64-bit version of Raspberry Pi OS. Now, the other thing is if you wanted to use an image that you had downloaded, you would select it down here using Use Custom. Or if you wanted to use any one of the many variants of Raspberry Pi operating system, you can pick them from here. But we're just going to go with this one here so that it downloads the latest version. And let's plug. I'll use the port on the back of the computer. There we go. Okay, and I'm back. Choose storage. Is it not detecting it? Okay, let me try unplugging and replugging that. Okay, Windows does see it. Pops up for a second, and then it disappears. Oh, okay. So it's showing up as a USB device that's grayed out, which usually means it's not making good contact. So I need to unplug the dongle, and then pull the card out, and then usually just push it in and like make sure that it's pushed off to the one side. It makes good contact, and that usually seems to fix the problem. There we go. So it sees the card, it's empty, it's 64 gigs, and there we go, SanDisk. And just making sure that was the right disk, or the right device on the menu. If you have multiple flash devices, make sure you're selecting the right one. I only have one on mine, so it's an easy choice to make. But if you have multiple devices on your computer, make sure that you're not flashing the wrong one. And yes, edit settings. Yes, that all looks good. Enable SSH. Oh, the other thing is make sure that set these for your own network, obviously. Your own network, your own country, your own time zone region. Although for Canada, you probably still want to leave it as US for the keyboard layout. And usually I turn this one on, or turn this one off, and these two on. But all of these are completely optional. And then we click yes to tell it that we want to keep those settings. And confirm that we want to overwrite the device. So we'll give that a few minutes to do its thing. In the meantime, okay, so I've got the HDMI cable hooked up. I'll just switch it over to the HDMI/gaming scene. While that does its thing, let's look up so looking at the data here, that looks like that's all spaces, I think. Yeah. Actually, you know what? The easiest way to get this onto the Pi is when it's done, we'll just use wget to pull the input file in. So it'll be exactly what's on here, and it won't be me copy pasting it. But looking at it now, I'm saying that's probably spaces. So what we'll want to do is we'll want to just split on, and it's consistently 3 spaces. So I think we can just split on the separator of 3 spaces. And yeah, that's also, I think that's just a new line character on the end, so that's fine. So for every, so first we need to split it, or well, first we need to read it in line by line, and then either as we're doing that or afterward, we can iterate the list of lines that we've read in. One way or another, we have to go through, for each line, we have to split it on space, space, space into these 2 numbers, build our 2 lists, sort the 2 lists, iterate the 2 lists, finding the distance between each pair, and then I think we add them all up at the end. Let's just double check. Oh yeah, that's one of the options. Is if you don't check the auto eject option, then you have to go in and tell the operating system to eject on its own, or on your own, I guess, manually. So I don't have to. Oh, I can't click on it there. I have to. There we go. Okay, so before I get into this, I want to get some water really quick. So I'm going to switch this over into. I don't really have like an intermission scene yet, so let's just go with this one. Okay, and no, that's the wrong scene. There we go. Although I do want to check in on the printer. Let's see how. Okay, that is not showing. Weird. Oh, there we go. That actually looks like it's coming along pretty good. Maybe with some lighting, that will actually be fairly usable. Okay. Well, let's switch back over. There we go. Wait, no. We were done with that one. We've got the card. There's a card in the pie. And I think the last. Yeah, we just gotta boot it up. Let's connect the HDMI first, so you actually see the boot sequence, and there we go, power on. Oh, and switch over here, there. Okay, that's normal, it'll cut out a few times. Oh, I'm gonna need. And I'm gonna want the mouse. my keyboard and mouse in case I need them. Actually, you know what? Let's copy the HDMI capture over to, there we go. Just copy it there so we can have the browser and the HDMI. Responsive. Okay, there we go. Control Alt T to get our console. Oh, I really can't see what I'm doing there. Let's zoom that in. Okay. And full screen. There we go. It's probably still really small on stream, so I'm going to zoom that in. There. That's a little bit better. Now let's just try. Oh, we can't copy from there because that's just the stream output. Let's just copy from the crowd. Oh. No, I can't copy because they're separate keyboards. Okay, whatever, I'll just type it. No, yes. I think it's d1/input. Let's just double check. MacLeod.com/24. Yeah. Yeah, it's the same thing, but /input. So let me zoom that in so I can see. /input. I think I want to say it's dash. Oh, let's just double check this one. Is it lowercase or uppercase? Yeah, that's probably close enough. Let's see. Local messages. Okay, no, that's not what I want. I want the one that lets me set the output file. So maybe it's capital O. There we go, capital O. That's what I wanted to check. And it looks like it actually goes before the URL. I'm not sure if that matters, but Let's play it safe. That should work. Bad request. Oh, you probably have to be logged in. Okay, well. It has SSH enabled, so I'm just going to download the file. There we go. Day one input. And oh, I heard the printer just finish. So we'll upload the file and then we'll go grab the print and start another one. So this file, files. Is it not letting me use SSH? Let's try the IP address. Can't quite read that. 116, I think. Let's try it. Actually, you know what? I think I can zoom that in further. If I right click here and full screen. No. Oh, that was the window capture. Oops. There we go. Okay. Yeah. What was that IP address? 0.110. Okay. I saved myself some time there. That would have been kind of frustrating to figure out. There we go. Okay. So now I should be able to SSH. Yes, now it's working. Okay, and just drag drop the file. There we go. Sometimes it's easier just to download things up from another computer and copy them over. And I could have also just copy-pasted it, but a little unsure about any special characters that it might have copied, so you know what? This is the safest alternative way. Okay, so got our file copied over. What else do we want to do? I think we're done with WS, so let's close that. Let's check. Before we open up the Python editor, let's just look for. I think it's the readline method is the one we want. So let's just take a look. No, I think this is just general formatting. Oh, hang on. That's actually the easiest right there, most likely. Yeah. So we go with open blah as, and then inside of there. Iterate over the lines, and then the only other thing that we have to do is split this method right here. Yes, stir split, and I'm pretty sure it just takes one parameter. Yeah, so if I just pass it a string consisting of 3 spaces, it should, well, let's try it. Okay, yeah, I'm not using SSH yet, so yeah, I'm gonna have to use the little keyboard. That I need. We might have to set the encoding, but it should probably default to that. So, and I think the only thing that we need to remember is that I called it day1input.txt. So let's just start off by declaring some empty lists to store our numbers. We'll give it the file name that we want to open as, and we'll tell it the name, the name of the variable that we want to use as our file handle. Okay. In there we want to just do, just double check. This should just be iterating it as a for loop, I think. Yeah. So we'll split into those two values there just to kind of confirm. We'll print them out and confirm that we're doing things right. So okay. So what this is going to do is it's going to wrap double quotes around, it's going to convert value 1 and value 2 into strings and plug them into that string there. So that the first part, the single quoted string with the double quoted substrings containing %s. So what that's doing is that's laying out the format of the string that I want to interpolate, and then it's using the string interpolation operator, the % there, and telling it what variables to plug in to those placeholders. So it's saying, okay, so for right now, I mean, later on I'm going to take those values and put them onto the list, but right now I just want to print them out and make sure that this is doing what I want. So when I run this, it should print out a whole bunch of lines surrounding all the values with double quotes, and I should see no stray characters or anything. Okay, so I am seeing stray characters there. So, probably I need to trim it. Let's just double check. Is there a pipe trim method? Oops. Oh, close. It's actually strip, not trim. Okay. So let's just pass each line. that should work. So that will take the line, it'll strip the white space off the ends, and then it'll split it on the 3 spaces in the middle. And that's the same line as before. There we go. Okay, so that's what I wanted to see. Now let's bring those lines back again. So we've got our 2 empty lists. We haven't done anything with those yet. And now we're going to append, after we split our lines, we're going to, into val 1 and val 2, we're going to append them separately onto list 1 and list 2. Here we go. So the 2 lists are not identical, but they are the same length. Now, let's just double check how the sort method works. So if I want it sorted in place, I can just call sort on that list. So if I just called list1.sort, list2.sort, that will replace those lists. But if for some reason I wanted those just returned as a new list without changing the original, I could also use list1.sorted, or no, it wants me to pass this one in. There we go. In fact, I think that's what I'm going to do, is instead of, because I can work on a copy of the list anyway. So without having to modify list 1 or list 2. And I'm just considering what my options are for iterating them. Because normally I would do a while loop on either one, but honestly it would... Yeah, let's just assume that the list lengths will always be equal. So we'll take the length of either list, and then just iterate from. Actually, you know what? I don't think we have to keep the original list. There's no reason for that. So. Okay. So we'll just sort that. We'll sort the lists in place. And then So we will assume they're the same size, but we won't assume that it's always going to be 1,000. Okay, so what this is going to do is it's going to iterate over both lists from 0 up to just short of 1,000, so 999, printing out all 1,000 entries, and then so we should see, just looking at the list here, 10056 and 99960 at the top and the bottom. There we go, 99960. And that's actually quite long. 10068, yes, I think that was. Okay, either way, I'm pretty sure that worked. I am going to have to reset my list counter back to, yeah, because that got incremented. And I could clean this up, I could put into functions, I could put it into code, but we're also just about done here. And then we can move on to the second challenge. So let's just finish solving this. So, the other thing, actually, before we start iterating things, let's also do some, yes. I think we have to import the math library because I think absolute, or abs, I think it's part of math. Let's just double check that though. Okay, it's just the dog. Oh, actually, never mind. It's built in. It's not part of math at all. So, we should do list 1 at address n minus list 2 at address n. Oops. this 1 sec. She has to go out for a pee. So here, we'll just finish this up and then, yes, 1 second. Yes. Sum plus equals difference. Oh, 1 sec. These have to be int. Okay, and do we get our answer? Okay, well, where's my shoes? Oh, I see what I did wrong. Okay. Sum equals 0, n equals 0. Yes, that one, and n plus equals 1. There we go. Sum is 2756096. What was the number? 2756096. Yay! Correct. Okay, so let's see part 2 and similarity score. Okay. Don't know if I'm able to resume streaming after this. So, okay, here, let's go. Okay. Well, that's it for today. We solved part 1, and we'll take a look at part 2 in the morning. So, have a good night. Bye.